Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
Happy Saturday. What a great way to start a day, right? I would love to do this every day. It's just, great group with great people, and we're talking about success, next level of success, and how we're going to get there. That's wonderful. So it's my privilege to be here with you all. I don't know if would you like to start right now, Dr. Emily? I would love for you to meet our first speaker, and I just can't wait for her to speak. So, Dr. Emily, would you like to come up on stage and introduce our first speaker?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone today?
Great.
Good. Well, I want you to turn to the person next to you, and if you're sitting by yourself, you need to move. And just give them a high five and say, thank you for being here. So, I would like for somebody in the audience to tell me one thing that you learned about yesterday. I know you guys are all smart people, but whatever comes up to your mind first, something that you learned yesterday, or the first thing that you're going to do when you go back home. Anybody?
Setting alarm.
Setting an alarm to wake up?
3 words.
With 3 words? Do you want to share your 3 words?
Love, kindness, and success.
All right, give her a round of applause. Here's a gift for you.
Oh, wow.
It's a journey is say, I'm kind of awesome. I think she's full of awesome, right?
Thank you.
So it's my absolute honor to introduce our first speaker. And I've known her for about, 1 year. But I already adopted her as a sister. So as everybody knows by now, I just keep adopting people. So if I say this is my sister or my brother, just take it lightly. Well, Dr. Hoa Nguyen is here. She is trained as an optometrist, and I'm sure she's going to share some story about her and her husband, who she lovingly calls lover, publicly, on stage, and everything. And they run successful practices, the two of them as a couple. They also have pivoted and add a whole other stream of income doing real estate syndication. So I told her, I can do a lot of introductions, say a lot of things about you, but typically I just do a one-liner. This is my sister, my friend, Dr. Hoa Nguyen, and her portfolio is 600 million. And it usually gets people attention. So did I get you guys' attention? Yeah. So should we hear about how Dr. Hoa runs her optometry practices and her business syndication, real estate syndication with her lover?
Yeah.
Yes? Well, Dr. Hoa, please come up here and share with us the secret of living together and working together and putting up with each other 24/7. Just give us a moment while we mic her up.
Tell us a joke.
Your joke. Good joke? Bad joke?
Sure stage.
Bad one.
Joke. Okay, so, many years ago, in California at least, they started teaching sex education in school. And they send you a paper, right? You have to sign a consent that you will let your kids learn about sex education. This is in elementary school, so it wasn't really like real sex education, but I think what they were doing, if I remember correctly, they were showing them a film, like a little documentary. And I think my son, I don't know, 6, 7, and I go, every day I would take my kids to school, drop them off, either when they were younger, they go to the babysitter, when they were older, they go to school, and then I would go pick up the kids at 2:30 every day, and I come back to work at 4:30. So I brought my van up there, I stopped, and my son happily ran into the van, jump in! And I'm driving, and I go, hey, what did you learn today? And I knew he was watching the sex, documentary. And he said, I learned that boys have tentacles. I go, that's awesome. I didn't even want to correct the word, I thought tentacles sound pretty good. So yeah, well, how many of you here have tentacles? Just kidding. Yeah, please welcome Dr. Hoa Nguyen.
I forgot, I'm light.
You want to light?
Give me the button. Good morning, everyone. Morning. You have to excuse me, but I don't typically like PowerPoint presentations because my talk today is going to be a lot more interactive with you guys. And it's a little bit off script, but I brought a few things here because I wanted to read something really particular. I am known as the napkin queen. The biggest multi-million-dollar deals are done on these babies right here. So Maria suggested I should start the napkin diary because through my course of all my businesses, they're all from here. And so I brought this. I'll read a few things off of it, but thank you first of all, Dr. Emily Letran, for having me be here, and thank you all of you for having coming on a Saturday morning. When I saw the agenda, I was like, I'm speaking at 8 in the morning. Holy crap, no one's going to show up. But thank you for making the effort to come out and participating here today. But a little bit about me, what my talk and I hope what I get to accomplish with you showing up today is sharing a little bit about our journey, but not really about just our journey. How we have learned from so many different avenues and mentors and programs and conferences, and how can I utilize and take all of that, what's helped us in our personal, our relationships, and our businesses, and how can I share that with you, and how can you implement that into your own life, for your own journey, whether you're together with a partner working together or not. This can be all applied to real life. And so that's what I really want to talk about is how do you integrate teamwork? Because teamwork starts with self, right? And so a little bit about my back journey. I was born in the Philippines. So I want to talk about my love, kind of what I envisioned as love and who I was as a person before. And then Jaime, I'm going to kind of paint the picture for the type of people we are before we got together. Because that matters. The type of background and bringing people together and joining in journeys, I think that really matters. So my background, I'm Vietnamese by Nguyen, typical Nguyen, right? When people are like Hoa, I'm like, it's Hoa, like HOA, right? Homeowners Association, who was saying that years ago. HOA, not the one you don't like. But born in the Philippines, came to the U.S. at age 8, immigrant. Lots of stories of immigrants coming to America. That's not an uncommon story, right? But what I envisioned as my love language, our family, we never hugged, we never kissed, we never we never verbally expressed how we love each other, right? You just presume that your parents love you, right? But it was never talked about. Like, we don't ever hug, my parents never hugged or kissed me, right? They never told me they loved me. They never told me that they were proud of me, right? And so we were like moving. I was in 18 different schools. We moved a lot. We had a lot of financial struggles. They were janitors coming to the U.S. I started working by the age of 10, working in the restaurant business. I was peeling shrimp, rolling egg rolls, deboning chicken. I mean, I was really working hard because to make ends meet. And when my dad passed away, I was 13. I'm 44 today. He passed when he was 43. And he spiraled out of depression. Like he went into alcoholism and depression because of financial struggles. All I remember about relationships is my parents always struggled with money. They always, it was always a stress point, right? Like they would move to one place, okay, that didn't make enough money. They would move to another place, but that didn't make enough money. And I always knew that they were always work. And so that's my growing up. I didn't know what love looked like. I knew we were struggling financially. I grew up in a little trailer of $3,000 in the projects of New Orleans. And so that was my background. Jaime, he's Mexican. He's an immigrant from Mexico, came here when he was about 5 years old. His parents hug him, kiss him, and like they always, I love you, and mijo, you know? And so when I first met his parents for the first time, I'm like, oh, he's the golden child. I am in trouble. But that's the upbringing he had. Like, that was their love. He saw that kind of love and upbringing, right? And so we met together in optometry school. He was my lab partner. We were doing eye injections on each other. And I was a shy, quiet girl. I would be in the back of the room. I would never really come to class because I was always working 2 or 3 jobs. And not really, I would just come and take tests, be in clinicals. But I was always working because that's my mentality. I always worked. I was a hard worker. I knew I worked. And I was like, man, I don't need to look at PowerPoint presentations and someone reading something to me. I can do that on my own. But he was like super studious, color coordinated, all his notes. So when we started getting to know each other, I would look at his notes like, dang, I've never seen a guy who color coordinates notes like that. And I get a color copy of that, But that's how our journey together. But what's really important and what I want to share with you guys is even though we come from very different backgrounds and our love of what we envisioned love to be was very different. He's outgoing, he was in the social scene, he's Mr. Popular, Mr. Colorful. I'm black, white, gray, or beige. So I wore bling today on purpose because I would never be in pink, bling, or this kind of color without Jaime. But it started my journey. If you looked at just pictures and nothing else, if you didn't even talk to me, but you saw a picture of my old self and my new self, just the color exudes totally different, right? But that's the transformation that it started from within. But relationships can be very toxic, or relationships can really elevate and bring your inner light and bring a whole nother warrior from within you out. And so picking the right life partner is so, so important. So how many people in here are actually married? Okay. How many people are single? Okay, very good. How many people would like to be married? No, kidding. You can let me see, raise your hands if you know.
I mean, like single.
Just kidding. All right, so I go to a lot. I know we have some Tony Robbins folks up in here, right? And so we go to a lot of the personal development and things like that. But Jaime and I, when we started our optometry journey, teamwork, when we talk teamwork, I'm like, well, what does that really mean? What does that look like in a marriage, right? As far as teamwork. We know, I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to be really raw and honest, not just about the picture rosy, perfect things that happen in a marriage, but how the real work that goes involved. We talk about work in careers and business all the time. All these conferences you go to, you pay for, all these mentorship programs to accelerate your career. There are not many things out there focusing on personal self-development, inner truth, and relationships. But I will tell you, if you focus on the core in your relationships and put in the same amount of effort and planning like you do in your own business and career, everything everything magnifies. But it starts from within here. And once you get this focus, the business will thrive. Because if your inner self thrives and your relationships thrive, your business is automatically, it pours over to all the different buckets of your life. And so these past few years, when people have seen the acceleration and the exponential growth of our journey, in our practices, in our real estate journey, it's because we do the deep dive work and commitment of making it work from our inner self and our relationship. We did not come together as perfect people. We're still not perfect people, but we're very intentional about creating the life we want. We don't go on autopilot by any means. A lot of people go in the motions, you get date, it's nice, hot, and heavy, and then after that, you get married, and then you buy a house, and then you create whatever career path, you have children, and then it kind of like, okay, it gets a little bit automated, on autopilot. You assume the person you're with is going to always be with you. And that's where a lot of people get into trouble. What we've worked really hard on day one, when I met Jaime, I did not trust men. I had an issue. That was a personal issue. I didn't trust any men. And the reason is because when my dad passed away, I was 13 years old. My mom got into a relationship, and a very toxic relationship. And because we had a lot of financial struggles, she was in this relationship, and this man was extremely physically and emotionally abusive to her. And that, at its core, I knew it was happening, but I was this shy, quiet girl, and I couldn't say anything about it. I was the baby with the girl, my brother was away from college. And I just felt like I couldn't say anything. And I knew she was going through it. It caused me so much pain. And I was always like, I just stacked my emotions. I'm just gonna focus on school. I know that was my lane. I did well in school. But I couldn't face, I came home from school one day, and I remember the one pivotal moment that changed the trajectory of my whole life. And why it was so important that relationships were going to be so important to me, and I was never going to let a man lay his hand on me, right? But when I came home from school one day, I come home and envision everything's broken in my house. And I hear all of this commotion in my mom's bedroom. So I run in and I open this door. And here he is, for the first time, I see him pulling on my mom's hair, and he's beating my mom up. And I will tell you, that moment in life was what changed me and became, I was like, never will I ever allow this to ever happen to my mom or me again. And so when people are like, where do you get your grit from? That moment right there, it's not like, oh, it took years. No, that one moment, when I saw that, I vowed. And that's when everyone thinks, oh, I'm labeled a shine into it. When a pain hurts so much, that brings out you don't realize your strength until you hit such adversity and pain in your life that moves you to be like, I today make the choice and decision to create the life I want. I'm going to protect my mom. And that's where my whole vision of love and freedom and financial, and that's where my journey truly began. Because I was like, no more. When you decide in your life, no more. I will take no more. This stops here. And I went in front of his face. And for the first time, I was like, Mom, you decide right now, it's him or me. Today, he's leaving or I'm leaving. And he always threatened to shoot us. I was like, you shoot, give me the gun, you can shoot me right now. Today, you die or I die, right? But that's how intense my emotions were. But that moment, he left and things like that. But I wanted a man, and I wrote everything down of what I wanted in a man. My standards were here. I allowed nothing less. I settled for nothing less. In my career, in my love life, and when you set that type of level and standards, you set the standards in your life. You get in life what you tolerate. And in that moment, when I said no, I'm not playing small. I'm going all out. And my mom wasn't allowed to go to school. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to school and I'm going to do really, really well. And so I went and, I was like, if she couldn't go to school, I'm going to prove that I can be valedictorian. And I did, and so whatever avenue, like even real estate, they're like, oh, you're a woman. This is a man's game. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Well, let me see how this works. Because I don't think it has to be that way, right? But if you set your mindset, and when I met Jaime, we literally wrote this out. I literally said, what do you want? Right? What do you want? And that sounds kind of weird. What do you mean, what do you want? Like, what do you want in your relationship? And I think you have to, when you're in your relationship, whether you're already in one or not, even now, I encourage you to do an exercise with each other to really write out what it is that you want in your relationship from each other. Right? And then we did an exercise, and we still do this exercise. What do we currently enjoy about the relationship? And what do we enjoy about each other? We write it out and we exchange it, because women, ladies, you want men to surprise you and make it special. They can't be mine. Write down what you want. Tell them what you want. Make it easy for them, right? Because, and guys, I go and what do men and women really want? So that's been a custom, right? And so I follow a lot of people who've been in successful, happy marriages. And I ask, what made it work for you, right? And so some of the things of what's important to a man is really different than what's important for a woman, right? So women, okay, write down these things, what women really want. And there's more, it can be cross-collaboration, of course, but what women really want is to be, one, understood. So listen, men, listen. And pay attention to small details. Understood, right? Number two, women want to be seen. Women want to be seen. It's not the grand things. Oh, we love the grand things. But honestly, it's truly the small, consistent things that you do on a regular basis. Whether you verbally say something, you write something, you notice a small detail, the hair, your eyes, whatever, but small things to be seen, right? And the third one, who thinks they know what the third one might be? Any guesses?
Listen.
Listen? Yeah, understood. Listen. Anything else?
Love. They want to be loved.
They want to be loved. Love is so important, right? Women so want to be loved. And that's super important. For men, let's top our name 3 things. What do you think the top 3 things for men are?
Time to work out.
Huh? What did you say?
Time to work out.
Tons of work out. How to work out? Tons of workout.
Great question.
Great question. Support, yeah. So, appreciation. Men really want to know that, hey, they're being appreciated, right? That you recognize what they're doing, that they're trying to be their best. We have a lot of women, right? We all have masculine and feminine energies, whether we're men or women, right? And a lot as a career woman, we can step into that masculine energy when we're in the workspace. But when I come home to Jaime, I step into my feminine power. And that's super important, because if I carry my masculine energy and masculine leadership from what I do at work, and I bring it home, that clashes. That clashes, because he's the man of the house, right? And so I allow him that, because I want him to have his masculine energy, right? And he cheers me on, go, right? But I make sure that I give him that space. All right, the second one, any other guesses? So he touched on workout. Intimacy is super important for a man. We don't think women, I was talking, you know the author of Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus? And he talks about hormones, right? And he talks about how yes, you can be together and still love each other, right? But that intimacy and physical touch is still so important, even more so for a man than a woman. And so a lot of times with long-term relationships, that gets kind of like dies down, right? It's hot and heavy at the beginning, and then intimacy, especially after you have children, it becomes a lot harder. And that's super, super important, is to have that level of intimacy. But for men, they can just have it, they just need a place, right? No, just kidding. Just kidding. For women, you gotta rule them a little bit. You gotta put them in the mood, right? You have to connect with them. They need to be connected before they can get in the mood, right? And so date nights are important. So I've been out for 17 years, small things that matter, right? But every week we do have date nights, whether it's outside or we in the room, whatever. It's something creative that we do for 17 years. We still have date night. We still date each other. I call him lovers. People are like, you're married. You shouldn't be calling each other lovers. I'm not calling what I want him to call me, right? But I was like, because he's my lover. He's my hot Latin lover, okay? Leave me alone. But that's important, right? The other thing is making sure communication, right? How you communicate with one another is super important. It's not the good times, but the bad times. We all have good and bad times, especially when you're busy with work and then you have different stressors in your life. The way you communicate with one another, and I set from the very beginning my non-negotiables. These are my non-negotiables. I know we're going to have ups and downs, but you hit any of these and it's game over. Make your non-negotiables known up front. You do X, Y, and Z, it's done, right? And so those are important that you have those and to be able to communicate effectively, because I can't read him and he can't read me. And so when we're angry at each other, we don't take out that right then and there. I'm not out of time, right? It says 21 minutes, right, Dr. Emily?
Sorry, it's my alarm. I forgot to shut it off. It's 8:45.
Okay.
Say your 3 words.
Yeah. So communication is super important, but how you test your partner, and you'll know through the journey, right? How you argue with each other. Like when you're not, we don't physically argue, right? But how do you handle emotions when you're super upset at one another? And so our strategy has been like, hey, we don't communicate. Like, I'm not going to verbally tell you anything when I'm super heated, because what the words that might come out of my mouth may not be what I really mean. And so we know, hey, if I'm super angry at you, we're going to take a time out for a little bit. We're going to take a time out. You do your thing, I do my thing, and I need to process my emotions. And then I'm a writer, so I like to write and then tell him, hey, this is what I'm doing, because it needs to be addressed. But I'm not going to tell you. And then when we're in a more peaceful state, then we get to get together and like communicate about how we're feeling, right? What else here? Immersion trips. I think immersion trips are super important. Who knows what an immersion trip is? You know, because you're in the Tony Robbins world, right? Yeah, so immersion trips are where you block it in your calendar, where you guys will go for a few days, secluded from everything else you're doing, and fully immersed in working like together, your own space, on yourself and on your relationship. And not just a vacation, but being intentional about what it is you want to create together with checkpoint. How are you doing? How are you truly feeling? Are we on the right track together? What can I improve on? What can you improve on? What are we doing really well at? But those are important. We do 3 immersion trips where we focus on nothing but our relationship. And I think if you can incorporate that and just put it on your calendar, if it doesn't get on your calendar pre-planned, it doesn't happen, because we all get into the busy world. But these are things we've consistently done that helps us with our marriage, that today we're more connected than when we were first just meeting, because that's a little bit like, oh, yeah, we're connected in that, but now it's like after having a daughter together and going our journey and building businesses together, and I always tell them, you are my foundation. If I lose you in this process of growth and this magic success that everyone's chasing, then I've failed at what I really want out of my life. And so that's always, and I tell them that every day. And I was like, hey, all these things we're doing is great. I love it. But how are you doing? How are you doing? Like, really, how are you doing? Are you happy? Because that's my checkpoint of success, is how happy are you? How fulfilled are you? Because it's not just the number of units. All of that comes with it, which is great because the more you have, the more we can give. And the more we can volunteer and create impact work. But if we're not good, and if I'm not good, nothing's good. Like, everything is fake if we're not good. And I'm not good, right? But the key is you have to be good independently, and you cannot, your happiness can't be dependent on the other person. You can't have the other person fill you. You need to come as a full person yourself, independent self. And then together you elevate one another's life. He's not my second half. I'm a whole by myself. Right? But we elevate one another to create a whole another mass, right? So let's do some exercises together. All right, take out your pen and paper. I want you to write down 5 things that you are really currently enjoying about your relationship. If you're not in a relationship, I want you to write down 5 things that you would really love in your ideal significant other. The 5 things that you would love to have about them, that you would be doing together in your journey. So manifest it. Manifest the vision of the person or the things that you would be doing that you would enjoy doing together and what your life would look like. And write down those 5 things, because if it's here and you put it on paper, it happens. Napkins. Everything I've manifested in my life, every single apartment, every single business, every single relationship and partnership I have, it's all on freaking napkins. And I will tell you, you write it down, just like all my goals, everything is on napkins. I am very intentional about writing everything in my heart and my mind. If I'm in the middle of a shower and I have a breakthrough, thought, I will step out of that freaking shower and write it on my napkin. That's how intense it is, because when it truly just happens, so I'm going to give you just a few minutes to write down just 5 things about what currently, if you're in a relationship, I want you to actually write down what you currently enjoy about your partner. What you really, really love and enjoy about your partner. Because you're going to exchange these when you get home. If you're here, you're going to change it later. 5 things. And if you don't have a partner, I want you to manifest them. For her. I think I manifested Jaime. I really think so. I did. You too, Dr. Emily Muskie.
You were in yesterday, but you were saying to manifest a partner? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling her she's talking to you.
You all just want me to get married. That's what you want to be. That's my takeaway of this trip.
We gonna find you one.
There you go.
There you go. Add you to the list. I know some good men.
How about women?
I know some good women.
All right.
Write it down. We'll give you 2 more minutes. And be honest. Be really, really honest. And just focus on what you really, really enjoy currently about your partner. Because you think they would know, maybe they don't know. While you're writing, I'm going to read out what Jaime wrote to me. Because I was like, oh. Okay, he goes, your laughter is infectious when you're with me and around others. When you arrive, you light up the room. Your smile just makes me happy inside. The way you educate Athena to be better and to learn. How smart you are and the way you view subjects from a totally different perspective. Your quick ideas to improve or to resolve an issue, whether it's complicated or simple. The way you are challenging yourself to be greater than who you are currently. The way you look at me and kiss me. How we hold hands, hug, and be affectionate, especially our family snuggles. Your daily and weekly schedule of what will take place, very organized. Your love for your mom and my parents, I really appreciate that. Family dinners are important to me. How my love for you continues to grow after all these years together. And so that touched my heart more than any type of trip or anything he could have bought me. Anything he could have bought me could not have matched what he wrote on this napkin. He wrote this on a napkin, just like I write everything on a napkin, and he gave it to me. But that was really meaningful for me. And I encourage you to do this periodically with one another. Because, you know, you assume that you love each other. Well, you do love each other, of course, and you assume that, you know, you appreciate the other person knows. But write it out. Like, I'm such a writer. Like, just write everything out, share it with each other, right? Because these businesses and being able to help and travel around the world has been most of the rewarding things. All right, you can stop right there. Are we almost done, or we need a little bit more time? I still see right. We'll give you another minute or so. We got the couples in the house here. So Dr. Nathan Ho and Gwen, really appreciate you guys. You know, you guys are an amazing couple. Really love the journey that you guys are on with your two boys. And so really blessed to have you guys on this journey. Dr. Emily is the reason I'm on stages. I was at an event and I saw Dr. Emily speaking. And at this point, I've never really seen many Asian women on the stage. And I saw her speak and share her story. I'm like, man, she's a little powerhouse back there. She's petite, but she's a powerhouse. I want to be on stage like her one day. And so I thank you, Dr. Emily. I always share when I'm on stage that you were my, like, ooh, you were really a role model for me. And I really appreciate you breaking out of the traditional mold of who people envision we are. Sometimes, and you're just out there telling your story and leading, and I just love what you're doing. So thank you for having me part of the event and being on stage. It's been one of the most rewarding things for me to just be able to travel and speak now, a new passion of mine, to be able to speak on whatever topic and in different audiences. And if I can touch, it only takes one person to impact another person to create a ripple. And you were that one person for me, Dr. Emily, so I really appreciate that. So all the other people that get to be, you know, if I can create one more, it's them from you, so thank you for that, right? All right, so I'm gonna do the triangle. Oh, I didn't finish about the men, right? About being appreciated. The second one was men need to feel free. Give them the freedom to reign and do the things that they want to do. They don't want to be held down. Let them have their freedom. And they need to feel opened up too. So if you have emotions, don't just hold it up, give them the silent treatment and not really express yourself. Open yourself up, because once you close down, the man will close down. And if he associates negativity, that every time you have a problem, you shut down and you block me out, then nothing's gonna ever get discussed. And everything's gonna keep stacking. So open up, slowly but gradually, but to keep a relationship healthy and for your own mental health, open up, let that toxicity, negative energy out. Okay? All right, here's the hierarchy. So I call it my me, we, family, global community, and then globally. So the triangle, the top is me, right? I talk about you have to be good in your own, creating your own best version of yourself. And that's a work in progress. Health, right? Your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, your physical, that is all me. That needs to be really good. We is you and your significant other. right? Working on that all the time. Family, if you have kids, your parents, all your other, and that, that's family. But it's me, we, family, community, right? And then once your family's good, then you focus on community, local community, global community, or whatnot. But sometimes we want to go from here to global. You want to help everybody else in the world. And you're out there doing all good for the world. You're serving, you're volunteering, you're donating, you're doing this, and this. And your poor kids, right? You're not taking care of the poor kids. What you work so hard, or you claim to work so hard for, like, do they really, they want your time. They want your love, right? All the things, they don't care about all that. Those are just fillers. At the core, they need your love and your full presence and your attention. And seeing a family that's happy, when they see you in your best version of yourself, and they see a happy, healthy relationship, that's the best legacy that you can leave behind for your kids. The money's just an extra bonus if you leave them that. But if you can give them the mindset, the love, and a good role model of what love can look like, that's a huge legacy that you can leave behind for them. You break the chain. People say hurt people hurt people. I come from a very hurt background. Hurt people potentially hurt people. You make the choice if you're going to break that chain. We chose to break the chain of love, of what love should look like for myself and my family. We broke the chain of the financial struggles to create what else is out there beyond becoming a doctor. There's a saying, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And so the real estate vehicle has been the vehicle for us to get time freedom, financial freedom, and to be able to create the bigger impact that we really want, right? But that's the hierarchy. So the plan for you guys, these are the action plans. So I talked about the immersion trips. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do immersion trips. If you don't have a partner, do immersion trips for yourself. Go to a place, do energy healing, do find your inner truth, do these different programs that are out there that focus just on yourself. There's a place called Sedona Mago. Amazing, amazing place. Lots of positive energy vortex. You can go there with your spouse. You can go there by yourself. They have different meditation programs. You don't have to be part of the programs. If you're a little lost and stuck, do a program called Find Your Inner Self. Find Your True Self is what it's called. But it'll be a big game changer for you. 3 times a year, at least 3 days each. Specialized education. I encourage you to follow people who are actively doing what you want in that space. For us in particular, we were doing multifamily syndications, and so we don't listen to people who are not in that space. You follow people who are successfully doing what you want to accomplish in that space, right? And you mirror them. And there's no secret to success. You just follow the process. And then you can create your own spin to it after, but learn the basics and the core before you get creative, right? And that's in anything you do, whether it's in health or whatever it is, specialized knowledge, whatever vehicle of real estate it is. Find someone who's successfully doing it, because you will find 10 other million people who will tell you it doesn't work. All the naysayers, all the people, I have so many naysayers, everybody, chop, it doesn't work, you're risking this and that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, right? And so I do instead of more say. I just do it. I'm just going to do it. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to follow. This is what I'm going to listen to. And so you have to be very careful on who you let in your space, because there's a lot of negative. And if you let too much negative energy around you, you can't step into your magic and be like, move out of my way, right? And so surround yourself with people who are aligned in vision and living the life you want to live. All right, listen to those. There's a site called 5lovelanguages.com, the number 5, lovelanguages.com. If you don't already know, there's a quiz, it's free. You can go on there and find out what your love language is, and then also what your partner's love language is, because it's important that everyone's, how they receive love is different. So I think that's important to know your partner's love language and your own. And then that one exercise, this is the last exercise that you'll have to, this is something we've done, Jaime and I have done this for many, many years, and we've incorporated with our daughter. Every night before we go to bed, we share with each other 2 wins, 1 challenge. 2 wins, 1 challenge. And the more you talk about it, because what's the typical answer? How was your day, baby? Good. So you don't really get to know, like, really, what do you really enjoy, what really drove you today? What was happy? What was challenging today? What happened, And so instead of asking them, like, hey, how was your day? Very broad, just share with each other 2 wins, 1 challenge. And that really helps a lot. All right. Let me see. In my other napkins. I know you have never seen someone present with napkins before. But you won't remember me as the napkin queen. All right. So I'm going to leave you, actually, I have to tell you something real quick. So there was this guy I met. He was with his wife. He's 98 years old. He was with her for 68 years. And I asked him, what is your secret to such a happy marriage? They still hug, kiss, and hold hands. They're the sweetest little couple. I met them at this mastermind. And he was like, okay, this is the secret. You ready to hear the secret? He goes, I told her when I first met her that I make all the major decisions in our life. And you make all the minor decisions. Well, guess what? There were never any major decisions made. And so he goes, that's the secret, right? Just kidding.
That's good.
No. But that's it. Well, that's fine. Okay. So I just want to remind you, kind of to end on the note of, as we're here at the Business Growth Conference, and I know there's a whole panel of speakers that, we're going to talk about strategies of business and things. And my normal talk, honestly, is about multifamily syndications and more the strategies and things like that. We've had the honor to really be able to help lots of families passively invest and grow their wealth. Not just how we've been able to grow our wealth through the real estate assets, but people who don't want to actively be involved in being a landlord or whatnot. There are different avenues, and so there's lots of ways. I always say, invest in becoming the best version of yourself, invest in meaningful relationships, and invest in appreciating assets. And if you can do that, the younger you are, your life is going to be pretty darn good. But in all of that, just always remember at the core, don't get busy. So busy that you get distracted. Always remember to slow down, because it's in the moments when you slow down where you get that aha moment and you're like, okay, this is what I really want. And then that's what you really focus on, and that's where the magic happens. There's no secret formula, guys. It's hard work, it's consistency, it's showing up, and it's being authentic. And keep your dream alive, dream big, because I honestly believe that you guys, everything you manifest, you can bring it to life. Okay, thank you guys.